Right now, as you're watching this video, something absolutely shocking is happening in the precious metals market, and the West is completely silent about it. In Tokyo, people are paying $130 per ounce for silver. In Kuwait, $106. In Korea, $97. But if you check your screen in New York or London, silver is trading at $71. Let that sink in for a moment. The same metal, the same ounce, but double the price, depending on where you're standing on this planet. Before we dive into what this really means, and trust me, what I'm about to reveal will change how you see the entire financial system. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel because what's coming next will shock you. Let me show you the numbers again, because this isn't just unusual. This is a full-blown confession that something is fundamentally broken in how we price precious metals. Tokyo, $130 per ounce. Kuwait, $106 per ounce. Korea, $97 per ounce. New York and London, spot price, $71. This isn't a market, this is a crime scene. And here's what makes this absolutely terrifying. These aren't just random price differences. This is a systematic divergence between what people are actually paying for physical silver versus what the official Western exchanges are telling us silver costs. Think about it. When multiple countries across Asia and the Middle East are consistently paying 30%, 40%, even 80% more than the Western benchmark price, what does that tell you? It tells you that one of these numbers is real and one of them is a lie. But which one? The answer is about to make you question everything you thought you knew about financial markets. Let me share a real case that perfectly illustrates what's happening right now. Years ago, there was a salesman in El Paso who sold brick pavers for 60 cents a unit. Fair price, solid product. Real inventory sitting in warehouses ready to deliver. But then ACME Brick started quoting 40 cents per unit. Suddenly, every contractor thought the 60-cent price was a ripoff. Here's the catch. ACME didn't have any pavers. Not a single one. They were just throwing out numbers to manipulate the market. One day, a grumpy old mason with mortar in his beard confronted the salesman, demanding he match ACME's price. The salesman fired back. They could quote you free brick, but if they don't have any, what kind of nonsense is that? The mason got it immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living through the exact same situation right now, just with silver instead of bricks. The Western spot price of $71, that's ACME brick pricing. It's a number on a screen backed by paper promises, derivatives, and futures contracts that almost never result in actual physical delivery. The $130 in Tokyo? That's what it costs when you actually need to put real silver bars in your hands. Numbers without metal, promises without delivery. The game hasn't changed, only the commodity. So let me pull back the curtain and show you exactly how this illusion is maintained. In New York and London, on the COMEX and LBMA exchanges, silver trades in a completely different universe than the physical market. This is the world of derivatives, futures contracts, options, swaps, and endless layers of paper claims on metal that doesn't exist. Here's the dirty secret. In these markets, less than 1% of contracts ever result in actual physical delivery. Let me repeat that. Less than 1%. High-frequency traders ping contracts back and forth in microseconds. Bank desks hedge positions. Hedge funds speculate on price movements. Everyone congratulates themselves on price discovery, but almost nobody actually wants the metal. They've created a beautiful, sophisticated system for discovering the price of an asset that they never actually have to deliver. Meanwhile, what's happening in the real world? Japanese bullion dealers can't keep inventory on the shelves. Middle Eastern buyers are paying massive premiums just to secure supply. Korean exchanges see single coins trading at $100. Because in these markets, you can't just print more contracts. You need actual bars. Physical metal that has to be mined, refined, shipped, and stored. And here's what's really terrifying. The gap is widening. 6 months ago, the premium in Asia might have been 10 to 15%. Now it's 30 to 80%. What happens when that gap hits 100%? 150%? What happens when Asia completely stops pretending that Western prices have any meaning at all? Let's talk about why this is happening specifically in Asia and the Middle East. These aren't random countries experiencing random premiums. These are the regions that actually use silver. Japan has massive industrial demand for silver in electronics and solar panels. They need the actual metal, not paper promises. Kuwait and the broader Middle East have a long cultural history of holding physical precious metals as wealth. When they buy silver, they want it in their vault, not in some derivative contract. Korea is one of the world's largest manufacturers of semiconductors, batteries, and electronics, all of which require silver. These markets are sending us a message, and that message is simple. We don't care what your futures exchanges say. We don't care about your settlement prices. We need actual metal, and we'll pay what we have to pay to get it. This is what happens when financialization collides with physical reality. For decades, the West has been able to price everything through paper markets. Commodities became just another asset class for trading, speculation, and financial engineering. But you can't eat futures contracts. You can't manufacture semiconductors with derivatives. You can't build solar panels with leveraged ETFs. And increasingly, the countries that actually need these commodities are refusing to play along with Western pricing games. China just restricted silver exports. Banks pulled a record $74.6 billion in overnight liquidity from the Federal Reserve on New Year's Eve, the largest withdrawal since the facility was created. Something is breaking, and it's breaking fast. Let me explain what's happening to the Western benchmark price right now. We've seen this pattern before with different commodities. First, the insiders notice the price spread and call it an arbitrage opportunity. They think they're so clever. Buy low in the West, sell high in the East, pocket the difference. But month after month, the arbitrage doesn't close because there isn't enough loose metal to make it work. Then, foreign markets stop pretending the Western quote is real. Buyers in Asia start negotiating based on their own regional prices, completely ignoring what COMEX says. Finally, the so-called global benchmark decays into a provincial settlement price for a shrinking club of leveraged players, while the real world quietly reprices the commodity higher in the only place that matters, where someone has to hand over an actual bar. This is how over-financialized benchmarks collapse. And we're watching it happen right now with silver. The $71 spot price is becoming increasingly irrelevant. It's not the price of silver anymore, it's just one price, and arguably the least meaningful one. Think about what this means for a second. If you're a manufacturer in Japan and you need silver for production, you don't care that COMEX says it's $71. You care that you have to pay $130 to actually get it delivered to your factory. If you're a bullion dealer in Kuwait, you don't price your inventory based on London quotes. You price it based on what you had to pay to replace it, and what your customers are willing to pay to actually own it. The paper price is becoming fiction. The physical price is becoming truth. And when those two things diverge this dramatically, something has to give. So what does this mean for you as an investor, as someone trying to protect their wealth, as someone watching this video right now? It means we're approaching a critical inflection point. Right now, if you're in the West, you can still buy silver at relatively cheap prices, at least compared to what people in Asia are paying. You can still get coins, bars, and rounds at modest premiums over that $71 spot price. But that window is closing, because one of two things is about to happen. Option one, the paper markets in the West finally break. Delivery failures pile up, confidence collapses, and suddenly, Western prices explode upward to match what the rest of the world is already paying. Option two, Western markets continue printing paper silver indefinitely, but they become completely irrelevant. The real price of silver becomes whatever Asia says it is. And if you want actual metal in the West, you'll pay Asian prices, plus shipping, insurance, and currency conversion. Either way, this price discrepancy doesn't last forever. Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about predicting what might happen. This is about recognizing what's already happening right now. The market is already telling us the truth. We just have to be willing to listen. When Tokyo pays $130, when Kuwait pays $106, when Korea pays $97, they're not stupid. They're not getting ripped off. They're paying the actual cost of securing physical silver in a world where supply is tightening and demand is accelerating. The question isn't whether Western prices will eventually catch up. The question is, will you position yourself before that happens or after? That old mason with mortar in his beard understood something profound. A price without product is just a number. It means nothing. What matters is reality. What matters is what you can actually get for the price you're being quoted. And right now, reality in Tokyo, Kuwait, and Korea is screaming that silver is worth far more than what Western exchanges are willing to admit. The system is cracking, the illusion is breaking. The price discovery mechanism that we've relied on for decades is failing in real time. And the most fascinating part? Most people have absolutely no idea this is happening. They check their phones, see $71 per ounce, and think they understand the silver market. They have no clue that half the world is already living in a completely different pricing reality. But now you know. Now you understand what's really happening beneath the surface. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? Banks are scrambling for liquidity. China is restricting exports. Physical premiums are exploding globally. This isn't theory. This isn't speculation. This is happening right now. If you found this analysis valuable, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell because this situation is evolving rapidly, and I'll be tracking every development as it unfolds. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think Western silver prices will finally catch up to Asian prices? Or will the paper markets just collapse entirely? I'll be reading every single comment. Until next time, stay informed, stay skeptical, and remember, in a world of paper promises, physical reality always wins.